And so I wanted to put my foot down and say, you know what, we're done. I'm not going to do it anymore. We're going to stand up and fight for people. We're not going to watch this world burn anymore. And we're going to actually represent people the way they need to be represented, not by billionaires and corporations or people that are funded by them.
Look, the blistering defeat of Republicans across the board in last Tuesday's off-cycle election should have created in you not only relief, but also a knowledge that we are changing hearts and minds about the very real threats that Donald Trump and his policies and his sycophants, the threat that they are to the country and to all of us. Well, I'm here and I'm happy to inform you that there is a new generation of fighters in the Democratic Party who are ready to right the ship and actually serve you and your interests. We need to support together their campaigns and propel them to victory, especially in states that have traditionally been represented by Republicans. Joining me today is one of those Democratic fighters who needs your support, Nathan Sage. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
So, first of all, belated Marine Corps birthday. Our illustrious Corps just turned 250 years old. Other than the fact that you have like a comic book superhero alter ego kind of a name, like Nathan Sage, like that's your superhero you're hiding from the public. Other than that, why don't you tell me, and I guess by extension, the audience, a little bit about yourself and what motivated you, what animated you to run for the Senate in Iowa?
What's interesting, first off, is my Marine Corps plaque actually says Nathan Sega Sage on it. So I'll put that out there. But yeah, for me, I'm just a kid that grew up in poverty in the west side of Mason City, Iowa, where I grew up, right? And like so many Marine Corps, so many Army, so many military that grew up in poverty, I didn't feel like I had many opportunities. My dad was, a factory worker just trying to put food on the table. My mom was a daycare teacher. Only reason she was a daycare teacher because that's the only way we could afford life with my three other siblings. So for me, I knew that I didn't have a lot of opportunity. I didn't know what I was going to do. And then 9/11 happened when I was a junior in high school. My dad was an Air Force veteran. It kind of just pushed me towards joining the military and serving this country. And did that. I got stationed at Marine Corps Air Station Miramar, got there, and then in May of 2004, and by August, it was, hey, you're going to Iraq. And I was there 2004, 2006, got out of the military, got out of the Marine Corps for a short period of time, and I did join the Army as well. But I went up in my hometown, was a mechanic, and I missed the military. I missed what I was doing. I actually called up the Marine Corps, actually tried to get back in and said, they told me, sorry, bud, we're not taking prior enlisted, and I was blown away by that. So I called the Army. Army gave me a $3,500 sign-on bonus. They had to pay me to be there. So I joined the Army.
They were lucky to have you. They were lucky to have you, brother.
Went to Iraq again in 2010. And I realized then when I had a 2-year-old daughter who's now 18, I can't do that anymore. I can't be away from my family. I can't be away from my kids. And I came back and finally realized I have an opportunity to go to college that I never thought I'd have. Used my GI Bill, worked nights to support my family doing that, and got my degree in journalism, mass communication with a minor in leadership, and wanted to get back to Iowa. I've been all over, wanted to get back to Iowa, and got into radio there. So I was working, doing news, doing sports, eventually marketing and sales. And I tell everybody that's when the light starts to come on for me, because I started working with businesses every day. My most recent job was the executive director of the Knoxville Chamber of Commerce, mainly because I started working with businesses after hours and understanding the troubles they're going through in rural Iowa, just trying to keep the doors open, just trying to keep the lights on, just trying to keep a service for the community, and how hard it is. And it reminded me of a lot of my dad just trying to put food on the table, right? And you realize in this scenario in the world we're in that the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. Most of us are just trying to do whatever we can to fight it for the scraps at the bottom, and there's nothing trickling down. And for me, watching my family struggle, watching both my parents die of cancer in a state that's number one in cancer rates, like it starts to eat away at you, and you start to get very upset with the world you're in and watching it happen, and you're watching good people struggle in this world. And sometimes a moment comes where I think we've all been there, where you got to stand up and fight for what you believe in and say, this is not the way this world is supposed to be. We shouldn't be struggling in the richest country in the world, where 60% of our population is living paycheck to paycheck. And so I wanted to put my foot down and say, you know what, we're done. I'm not going to do it anymore. We're going to stand up and fight for people. We're not going to watch this world burn anymore. And we're going to actually represent people the way they need to be represented, not by billionaires and corporations or people that are funded by them. So that's really the reason I'm here, is because at the end of the day, I've watched from afar, watched this world turn into what it is, watch our democracy hang in the balance, and working class people kind of get lied to and left behind. And
yeah,
I'm done with it.
My spirit is buoyed hearing you talk about being a fighter for the working people in this country. I mean, apart from, obviously an election is a contest, it's a competition, there's going to be a victor, there's going to be a winner. Leadership, especially at this level, is about more than just, like, obviously, let me back up. Iowa, the 99 counties of Iowa, which I'm sure if you haven't already, you will visit the 99 counties in Iowa. They need a fighter, but it's also there's another element of it that is about pushing back, about protecting democracy itself, about actually supporting and defending the Constitution. It is about a fight. What makes you the fighter? What makes you the guy who has what it takes to represent Iowa and, by extension, other Americans who need the help of policy in this country? What makes you that guy?
Well, first off, I already have done the 99. We did over 140 events since August 1st. We've done 10,000 miles in the car, 250 hours. That's what you got to do, right? You got to get out there and actually meet and talk to people. And I think the reason that I'm the fighter is, one, obviously I fought in Iraq 3 times. I took the oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. But at the same time, yes, I've been fighting my whole life just to figure out a path for myself, just to figure out a path for my family, just to figure out how to get through this world where it's not affordable, where it doesn't work for people, and the same opportunities aren't for everyone. When I was in the Army, I had to figure out how to pay for my groceries for my family with $40 for 2 weeks. Like, my life experiences and the way I grew up, I can resonate with so many people across this state, because they see themselves in me, because they know the struggle is real for all of us. I still pay rent to this day. My wife works at McCoy True Value in Indianola. Like, I'm not made of money at all. I am a person that, if anybody can fight for us, it's somebody that knows what it's like to live in a world where nobody wants you. And that is where I am, where I've come from. And and when I talk to people, when I did the 99, so many people just come up to me and shake my hand and go, you're real, because they're not used to somebody being real with them. They're used to this fake facade that we've all gotten into. And we need real fighters. We need people that are not going to say one thing and do another, but actually do what they say they're going to do.
I wish more Americans knew. We come from very similar backgrounds. I come from the other I state. I'm from Idaho originally. Joined the Marine Corps out of high school, did all that, ended up in politics, working for the United States Senate after I got out. But people don't understand the kind of the plight or the situation of rural America. And Iowa has a unique situation that you people are facing right now, the deleterious effects of Donald Trump's tariffs. I mean, the manufacturing makes up about almost 20% of the economic output of the state of Iowa, and the tariffs, because of aluminum and steel tariffs, they are crushing right now the economy of Iowa. Iowa is the #1 pork producer in the country. Obviously, the ICE, the mask secret police of Donald Trump and the mass deportation effort is harming that particular industry. Over half of Iowa's energy comes from Donald Trump's nemesis, the windmill. So all of these elements of Donald Trump's war on the economy, war on industry, are hurting Iowans. What are your policy prescriptions to not just push back against Donald Trump, but really do offer a solution to the farmers? Soybean is another thing. Yeah. Soybean is a multi-billion-dollar industry for farmers in Iowa, and China, being a major customer, stopped abruptly because of the tariffs. What are you going to do as a United States Senator to offer some hope for Iowans?
Well, I think when you look at it, right, it seems like what we're seeing from this administration, from this big bullcrap bill, is an attack on rural America, an attack on rural Iowans, and then you add the tariffs to it, where you're seeing farm bankruptcies and all the issues that we're having. First of all, we got to start with reversing that big bullcrap bill. Like, we can't lose we can't lose our rural hospitals. That's one thing that when we did this 99, people are very fearful and angry and fearful that they're going to lose their hospitals and have to drive 5-6 hours just to be able to go to the hospital because they can't have their hospital close to them. One thing that we talk a lot about renewable energy when we talk to farmers, right? When my video when we launched, it said we built the table. It's time we had a seat at it. What that means for me is bringing farmers to the table to understand how we can fix the issues we're having in our state, especially in regards to the tariffs that we're seeing. In regards to I don't know if you know this, but Iowa is in the top 1% for the worst water in the country, and the issues with our cancer rates and the issue with renewable energy. I'd like to use farmers as the frontline fighters when it comes to climate change and when it comes to the issues that we're having by incentivizing farmers to do good conservation efforts that we need to slow the runoffs in here, incentivize farmers to consider changing the way they do their crops from row crops to cover crops, because we know in Iowa that the topsoil is actually eroding, and when it's eroding, we're seeing the more nitrates being put on land, which you don't want to see that because that adds to our problems with our water. But a lot of the issues stem from just the programs we already had being ripped away by this administration. Like putting more money into renewable energy and renewable fuels will give a revenue source for those farmers, and that's the big issue with our farmers in our rural communities is when you have small farms that are mid-sized farms that are doing good, that's when our rural communities do good. So we need to incentivize those farmers and give them new revenue streams. One thing I'd love to see that this administration got rid of is they got rid of the farm to school program, which for farmers in Iowa was a big thing to allow produce to go to our schools to help with the budgets for the schools, so they're not spending so much on food, but also gives a new revenue stream for those farms to keep those farms away. We should be making the farm work harder, not the farmer. So if we have more revenue streams for those farms, we can keep those alive. The problem is, like I said, they're being squeezed so much by these policies by the Trump administration. We have to rein that in. We have to stop that first, or reverse the big bullcrap bill, but really incentivize farmers to do good conservation efforts to make sure that they're actually incentivized to do so, and we're actually seeing chances for our rural communities to thrive.
So you are obviously we do share a lot in common. We're both kind of coded Republican. You've got a Republican face. I know I've got a Republican face.
Is that a diss? I feel like that's a diss, but it's also good.
Well, if it is, it's on me too. Yeah. So are you seeing some camaraderie, some more acceptance? Are people gravitating toward you who wouldn't be traditionally maybe a Democratic voter? I mean, Iowa is one of those states. We need fighters like you in a position like this, in a state like this, because Iowa has traditionally been represented by Republicans. And, not in the Senate so much, but some of the worst, Steve King types and these white Christian nationalist types. Joni Ernst herself. Well, everybody's going to die. I mean, are you being well received out there in the 99 counties?
I was at the town hall when Joni said that, by the way, at 7:30 in the morning in Parkersburg, Iowa. But yes, actually, so one thing that's interesting to me, it's actually always feels it's weird, is the people that come up to me since day one have shaken my hand and be like, I didn't know who the hell you were, Nathan, until my Trump-loving Republican son sent me your video and said, this is a guy I would vote for. So that made me feel good. But then when we actually do town halls, and we have people showing up that are Republicans and going, one woman in Council Bluffs, Iowa was like, Nathan, I've been a Republican since I was 17 years old. And the reason I'm sitting here in front of you and listening to you today is because we need people to fight for us. And it seems like nobody right now is fighting for us. And so that's why I'm very excited for your candidacy and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, yeah, I appreciate it. But we went up to Northwest Iowa, Steve King country, and we were told, Nathan, if you can get one person at this town, Cherokee, if you can get one person there for breakfast, it'll be amazing for you. We had like 10 people show up, and like 2 of them were Republican. And then we're in Sac City, which is Northwest Iowa, Steve King country. 35 people showed up wearing my T-shirts that say "Sage Against the Machine." Like, they know that I am not your run-of-the-mill politician. I am not your, talking points. I'm not going to sit here and do, jokes that aren't funny and crap like that. I am going to speak how
That's my job. Yeah, you're not going to be stealing my job, Nate.
I'm going to speak how I feel from the heart, from the chest, because I feel like that's what people need more than anything is real authenticism. Somebody that's like I said, is going to not just say something and do something else, but do what they say they're going to do. And people see that in me right away, because I don't know any other way to talk. And being real with people is what we need more than anything. And that's why we're seeing both sides of it come together.
Yeah, I agree. And I am heartened. Again, my spirit is buoyed by the fact that there are people out there who are willing to continue to serve. And obviously, having been a Marine, I mean, we've got some bad ones out there, JD Vance, but servant leadership isn't just a toss around phrase. It's not a disposable, it's a real thing. And it seems like you have a heart for actual servant leadership. Where can people find out more information about your campaign?
SageForSenate.com is our website. You can follow us on social media as well, Sage for Iowa. But that's probably the best way, SageForSenate.com. We always tell everybody to go to our website. It also has, like, you go to the event tab, it shows where we're going to be. So when we did the 99, the state looked like it had smallpox because there were so many places we were going to be at. So I tell everybody, go there. You can learn more about me, but also find out where you can meet me.
Well, I'm going to put a fundraising link that I would recommend. I would highly suggest that people get involved in the campaign. If you've got an extra 5, 10, 15, 25 bucks, or, Daddy Warbucks, great. Donate to this campaign. After what we saw this last Tuesday with the absolute routing of Republicans across the country, because Americans are fed up with what is taking place in Donald Trump's administration. We need more people like you. And I'm glad you're here, and thanks for joining me.
I appreciate you for having me. I get a chance to speak from the heart and tell everybody who I am, so I appreciate you just having me.